part, I want to talk about 90 for life and the 90 essential nutrients and kind of origin of that, right? So I know that here we have some individuals who are very familiar with Youngevity in our products and some individuals that are not so familiar with them, right? So here's what I want to do. I want to kind of share a little bit about the origin of 90 for life, okay? So here's the thing, right? To truly understand and appreciate what Youngevity and Dr. Wallach has done, the first thing that you kind of have to appreciate is that your body runs on nutrients, okay, right? And that your body runs on a simple set of nutrients. It isn't red wine, it isn't green tea, it isn't carrots, it isn't turkey. It's the individual nutrients that those foods are composed of. And there's two types of nutrients. There's macronutrients and there's micronutrients. What we're going to talk about is micronutrients. The vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, the essential fatty acids. These are the building blocks of these foods. So the first thing that you kind of have to appreciate, if you want to appreciate Youngevity and their products, is that my body runs on nutrition. And that it can run better, and it can perform better, and it can rebuild better, and grow better, if it has the right nutrients and more of those nutrients. And the reason why I say more of those nutrients is because where you're usually getting those nutrients, or where you should get those nutrients, which is food, unfortunately you can't get enough of. And you've heard a lot about that when Dr. Wallach talks about how he all started this 40 years ago. But just the other day, I gave a presentation to the American Medical Association, and I showed some statistics and some research from University of Texas A&M, and Donald Davis, the doctor there, had done research with the World Health Organization 3 years ago, and he looked at 42 different fruits and vegetables in the United States. And he found that 63% of, and he picked like 6 nutrient sets, like iron, vitamin B12, vitamin A, vitamin C. There was a list of nutrient biomarkers that he had, right? He took those 42 fruits and vegetables, he did an analysis on them, and he found that on average, those 42 fruits and vegetables had lost 63% of their nutrient value since 1970. Okay? Now that's just since 1970. So imagine what it would be like if it was maybe 1950 or 1930, in which our soils actually had even a better quality of nutrition, right? So these two things that I just told you. The first thing is that you believe that your body needs nutrition and that it can perform better with nutrients. And then the second thing is that where you should be getting those nutrients, meaning the foods that are being grown and given to you, do not have them, now allows you to embrace the fact that maybe I should get them from somewhere else. Right? And so now you have the two pillars behind what, not just what Youngevity is all about, but what the nutritional supplement industry is all about. Right? Now we need to go back to, okay, what about specifically Youngevity? So specifically Youngevity, as many of you know, Dr. Wallach, our founder, and then also the originator of the core philosophy of what Youngevity is all about, which is the 90 essential nutrients, came to this realization when really not when he was a veterinarian. It was really when he became a pathologist. And I don't know if many of you know this, but Dr. Wallach has several degrees. But the one degree that I really appreciate, where I feel is the true kind of catalyst behind all of this, is his pathology degree. His degree in which he focused on the root causes of illness and disease. That's what a pathologist does, right? Is they go back and they start looking at what are the pathways to these particular health issues that they're researching. So first he becomes this veterinarian, and so he becomes to understand, first he begins a master's in agriculture. Okay? And so he understands soil value, farming, etc., etc. Then he becomes a veterinarian. Now he understands the value of medicine, and he understands the value of physiology and how that relates. Then he becomes a pathologist, and then he becomes a researcher. Now when you take a look at that kind of like pathway there, you understand that at the very end, when all of a sudden he gets this huge research grant from the NIH and says, what I want you to do is I want you to go research all of these different populations of animals that are having certain healths and diseases, and they all are the same types of species, then you realize, well, okay, now I see how he can take these different animal populations from different parts of the world, do research, and find that for some reason, why are the same health problems that these, I'll just pick one, giraffes are having in Africa are the same health problems that the giraffes are having in Canada. It doesn't, I hope there's giraffes in Canada, let's just go along with that, right? And so, but see, his whole, I really should get that down really good, right? Because I'll be more believable. And so anyways, now he starts looking at the environmental toxins, he starts looking at genetics, he starts looking at all of the things that should be a commonality between both of those areas. But he realizes that there's none of those problems. And you know what? You know that as well too. Because when you talk to your family and you talk to your friends, and when you talk to other individuals that have certain health issues, you realize that some of those commonalities, meaning genetics, or meaning environments, those don't necessarily cluster properly. You just don't understand why Bobby got cancer. Because Bobby didn't look anything like Sally, and they lived in totally different environments. There was and so then you start thinking to yourself, well, wait a second, maybe I should dig a little bit deeper. Well, because of Dr. Wallach's understanding of nutrition, and understanding of agriculture, and understanding of pathology, he started to look at nutrition. It wasn't that he had a dietitian degree. It wasn't that he was in nutrition. I mean, he really wasn't. I know he talks about, well, I had this, thing with my eye, and then I, licked some salt licks, but see, if you really read what he says is that his naturopathic degree came much later, right? Which is really cool because you understand that he didn't have any biases to going just towards nutrition. All he was doing is trying to find commonalities between all of these different animal populations and the diseases and illnesses that they were getting. And then, when he started to look at all of the different things that any of us would look at as researchers, the only part that he saw that was the commonality were the nutrients that were found in these particular areas. That's how this all began. And then, as he realized that, he said, okay, now I'm going to start looking at what are those specific nutrients. And rather than looking at green tea antioxidants, or rather than looking at resveratrol, or rather than looking at, beta-glucan, or taking all of these things that aren't necessarily commonalities in food, he just said, well, why don't I just look at what are the commonalities that are in food, which is vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, and amino acids. And so that there's a lot of vitamins, there's a lot of minerals, there's a lot of amino acids, there's not a lot of, there's only 3 essential fatty acids, okay, right? But it's so then he starts saying, okay, listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start testing this in the lab. And so what if I took vitamin C away from these lab rats? What condition would happen? What if I took vitamin A? What if I took selenium? What if I took zinc? What if I took all of these different things away? What would I actually see? See, this is how the 90 essential nutrients came to be. This is why it's not 89. This is why it's not 91. It's a 90 essential nutrients. Is because when he started looking at all of these links, he started looking at fundamentally, you really need consistently these 90 essential nutrients. Now here's the thing. This might have been 40 years ago, But the reason why I say that Dr. Wallach and what we're doing is at the core is that now this is well known. This is now, there's a, if you go to the physician desk reference, right, they list out, their list is 60. So they have 60 essential nutrients. They're called essential nutrients, non-essential nutrients, essential nutrients. These are the essential nutrients that they have defined that your body needs on a consistent basis, or you will face this disease or this illness. It's already listed out there. So the World Health Organization goes out to all of these different countries and it says, listen, if your populations have these 60 essential nutrients, if any of these are missing, this is the health problem that this patient is going to have. The reason why I say that is because I don't want you to believe that it's now just Dr. Wallach. That it was it was just him maybe 40 years ago, and you would just have to believe him. Now, you don't need to believe him. You can believe, if you want to believe the American Medical Association, great, believe the American Medical Association. You want to believe the World Health Organization, great, believe the World Health Organization. You want to believe Dr. Wallach, you can believe Dr. Wallach. You want to believe the Naturopathic Association, believe the Now, all of these groups, they're saying the very same thing as what Dr. Wallach had began 40 years ago. Okay? Now, there's the difference of the 30 nutrients. Where do those 30 nutrients come from? The only difference between what the World Health Organization, the American Medical Association, all these groups are saying, and what Dr. Wallach is saying, is that they like to see individual nutrients. Okay? Dr. Wallach likes to use one set of nutrients that are in their most natural matrix. And that nutrient is minerals. See, here's the thing. Your body has a really amazing way to make pretty much everything that it needs to live. Okay? It can make vitamins from other vitamins. It can make certain essential fatty acids from certain things. It can make hormones from certain vitamins, certain minerals. It can make, but the one thing that it cannot produce on its own is minerals. The weird thing is that your body needs minerals to live. But it's weird that whoever made the body, and everyone has their own thing, and that's cool, okay, right? Is that it didn't provide it a major thing that it needs to live. But what it did is it allowed another living organism to make that. And that is plants. Plants are the only living organism or element that you can get minerals from, that your body can actually use. Now those minerals are found in the soil, and the only thing that can take it from the soil and put it into a usable form is a plant. Because we don't do this little process called photosynthesis. If we did, then we would be able to take an inorganic mineral and turn it into an organic mineral. But a plant is the only thing that allows us to get that, because we need to eat the plant. So somebody had their plan in mind that said, listen, I'm going to force you to eat a bunch of plants. Because if you don't, you will die. Right? And now you can tie that back into the fact that, oh no, the one place that I was supposed to get all of these minerals doesn't even have as much that I'm supposed to get. And then I won't even talk about most people's lifestyles and the fact that they don't eat enough of these plants. Right? And so this is how everything all came to be. And this is why our core philosophy is very simple. Every company has their philosophy of what provides health and wellness. What we believe is that the reason why you are in the health issue that you are in is because of a disease called the deficiency disease. That you are deficient in a certain nutrient. And that certain nutrient is either a vitamin, a mineral, an essential fatty acid, or an amino acid, or a combination of those things. It's very, very simple, because these nutrients are the ones that are found in food. And so that's why I love what Youngevity has always messaged, what Dr. Wallach has always been about. To me, I've been in this industry for, 16 years. I've been formulating for 15 years. Like, I know this. Listen, back in the day, I could care less whether it was 90, 89, 100. Like, it didn't matter to me. Wallach, I didn't care. He was just another guy to me. Okay, right? Because there's plenty of those guys. There's the Mercola guy, there's a Sinatra guy, there's all these people that I believed in, that I researched in, that I did, right? The reason why I always believed in Youngevity's philosophy is because you had to be an idiot not to believe in it. Because it was very simple. All they were telling you was, take your vitamins, your minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids. Just take more of those nutrients that are inherently found in food. It wasn't take the polyglycols, it wasn't to take an acai berry, it wasn't to take the sea buckthorn, it wasn't there it wasn't there to take a food or something that was grown next to the Himalayas that people lived to be a bazillion years old. It was just, listen, take your vitamin. Take those nutrients that were found in food, but unfortunately, because of the way that we grow and we process and we cook food, you don't get enough of them. And maybe your lifestyle and your lifestyle doesn't allow you to get enough of it. So why don't you try this? Okay? And so that is the origin of 90 for Life. That's the 90 essential nutrients. That's why it's one real quick. Like I was saying, I totally forgot, is that the 30, right? Is because, remember, Dr. Wallach and we all believe the best way to take your nutrition is in its most natural form. Okay? And with minerals you can extract and either pull apart, like the calcium, magnesium, the boron, or you could just take it as it is. And when you take it as it is, you essentially get those other 30 minerals. Because when you pull it from that plant, you're going to get that natural matrix. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? And so that's the only difference between those two sets. Okay? Right? I got a whole presentation that talks more about that, but now I want to switch over to the transformation experience.